Welcome to the podcast. My name is Michelle Sinclair. Today we are talking about love. So I need to bring this up because I've had clients over the years, and so I know that this is a common problem that people have, and I could say in particular women, but perhaps that's not actually true. So let's say, and I'm going to start this out with women, let's say that you are a young girl and you perhaps don't have the perfect family life, and so your father is not this really nice, nurturing, caring, sweet man, and your mother is not this supportive, loving, woman. So you then, because you are not in this nice, caring, supportive environment, tend to put up walls around yourself. So rather than being soft and vulnerable like, you're meant to be, this, sweet little thing, this little kid that's supposed to just, be open and supported and cared for and loved unconditionally. And if this is the case, and this was not the case for you, then you need to protect yourself, right? And so you need to become independent, and you need to, kind of gain a tough exterior to deal with your life. Because you don't need to gain a tough exterior if you're just only getting love constantly all the time. No, you can be open, you can be vulnerable, these things. But if that's not the case for you, then you toughen up. And so, and I'm not saying toughen up as a compliment, but basically you shut down and become hardened rather than soft, because you're trying to protect yourself. Does this actually protect you? No, it doesn't. We'll get to that in a minute. So, but the point of this is that I have had women, girls, come to me and telling me that they feel like they need to be really tough or mean or angry so that they can get any kind of respect. And they feel like if they were to be the kind, nice, sweet them that they actually are, that they would be walked on and taken advantage of, and that they would be weak. So this is what I'm getting at, is that many people believe that love is weakness, that being in that soft, vulnerable state is weakness. But let me tell you this, is it not the more difficult thing to do, right? Because it's easy to be mean, it's easy to be angry, it's easy to be harsh with people, it's easy to cut people off, it's easy to do all of these kinds of things, but it is not necessarily easy, it's not, to be vulnerable and to not be harsh. So this would imply that being harsh is actually the weak way out, and that being angry is actually the weak way out. And being that loving presence is actually the hard thing to do, right? And it is. So if you were little and you had to turn that off, why did you have to turn it off? Because it was hard to maintain it and to keep it when you're not receiving what you are either giving or what you should be getting. And so when we come into the world and we're these little tiny people, we intuitively know all of the secrets to the universe, right? We know all these things, but then our parents and people around us and ourselves very quickly, those leave us. Depends on the person. Sometimes it doesn't happen that way, but typically. So you come into this world knowing that there's just supposed to be love, and but you also know you're here to learn lessons and the things. And so when you get into a household and then you're not experiencing this is why it is painful, this is why it is hurtful, this is why it hurts, is because you know it's not right, it's not correct, it's not what is meant to be, it's not supposed to be this way. And through your little, think about a little tiny child, right? They're all soft, vulnerable, this cute little, sweet little thing. But what would change that would be how other people treat this little person, and then that could change how that person thinks, behaves, acts, all of the things. And so at some point, we develop this tough exterior because we think it's going to protect us from things. And we think, oh, if we act this way, then nobody can hurt us. Which, of course, I mean, if this is you and I'm talking about you, you know that that's not true, and it doesn't protect you from anything, and that the things that hurt still friggin' hurt. But that you actually do yourself more disservice. You might not be aware of this, but you actually do yourself more disservice by being that way, by not being open, because you miss out on opportunities. And the purpose of us to be here in this life is to grow more into this love. So now here's my example. So there was a young woman that I had coming to me. This is like almost 10 years ago. And she said, I have a really hard time basically being nice to people because I see it as weakness. And so I'm mean to everybody all the time. And I get it. I 100% get it. And especially being a female, right? Sometimes we feel like, especially, some women, that you're disrespected, you're not listened to, you're not heard, you're disregarded. And so this, makes women angry. And so I 100% get where she's coming from. But I say to her, is it really easy to be mean to people? Oh yeah, super easy. Okay, so then does that make you stronger, or is it making you weaker? And she had never really thought about it this way. And I said, well, what would the hard thing be? Would the hard thing be to be nice when people are being mean to you? Or, well, yeah, that would be the hard thing. Okay, so then what would make you stronger? Wouldn't that make you stronger? Well, yeah, no, that's a good point. So sometimes we're not perceiving things quite properly. And we think that by being angry and by being mean, that we are then, now we're in control. Now we're holding the power, when we're really not. What we're doing is damaging and harming ourselves by doing that. I hope this is making sense. So if this happens to be you, if you are still in the I don't want to be vulnerable because it's going to cause me pain, or something along those lines, or I need to be mean to people because then I get respect from them, I feel like I'm in control. Just flip this around. As someone who's mean to you, do you respect them? Somebody who yells and screams at you, do you respect them? Someone who yells or screams or is mad constantly, do you want to be around them? Or would you do everything that you could to avoid it? Now, someone who's kind and sweet and nice to you, do you want to be around them? How do you feel when you leave an interaction with someone who is nice and kind and sweet to you? How do you feel when you leave an interaction where someone was mean or harsh or critical of you? So when you view these things, you know that people like nice people, right? They want to be around them. And that people don't want to be around mean people. They avoid them at all cost. And even if they have an interaction with them that is good, the person who's used to getting the anger from that other person will be sitting there and will be on edge the whole time, just waiting for the shoe to drop and waiting for that anger to come back out. So put yourself into other people's shoes and think, how I behave, would I want to deal with myself? And if the answer is yes, then you're on the right track. And if the answer is no, then something needs to change. Now, I know that sometimes people feel like they can't be honest. That they, oh, if I'm honest, if I tell this person this, oh, I'm going to get hurt. No matter what happens to be. And I'm going to tell you that lies, which is the same as white lies, meaning just omission, has so many damaging effects because the person who's on the receiving end of the lies and all the other people who are involved, if there's other people involved, are weaving lies into the fabric of reality. And so then when things happen, things don't quite add up, things don't quite make sense, things become very confusing because there's been lie energy that has been taken and accepted as truth and woven into the fabric of the person's story. Now, why is this so damaging? Is because the truth will always set you free. And so that people need to know the truth so that they can be set free. And so sometimes it might be something harsh that you're thinking, oh, I don't want to tell this person this because it's going to harm them in some way. Well, if